Hello, Debbie.
Hi, Marla.
How are you today?
Very well. And yourself?
I'm very well as well. Okay, in all seriousness, I have kind of
a serious one. Yeah.
I have kind of a serious topic today. As you know, we are in a pandemic or in the middle of a pandemic. And the question is like, how do you move during a pandemic? Like, how do you handle that? So I'm Marla Wong.
I'm Debbie Wong.
And this is Real Times in Real Estate. And together we are the
Wong Real Estate Group.
Wong Real Estate Group. Okay, so Debbie, do you have any tips for us on how to move during a pandemic?
I absolutely do. And we've actually had several customers make a move during the pandemic. And there's, and based on our experience and also preparation and following, the governmental guidelines, all that kind of stuff, I do have a list that I prepared that I thought was pretty cool. So I think first and foremost, you have to think about where are you moving to, and how is COVID-19 impact the area or the place that you're moving to. So that's certainly something that you have to take into consideration. So we've had people that have moved out of the Bay Area to other states, a couple of cases, other countries. And so you have to think about, what is going on there, right? So that's the first and foremost. And then you have to think about, the area that you're moving to. How are you going to get there? Are you going to drive? Are you going to fly? I think those are also important things to consider. We had some customers that moved from California to New York, upstate New York. And because of the flying, there was a lot of regulations, and they were kind of concerned about being enclosed quarters,
because it's like a 3-hour flight.
No, from California to New York is 5 hours.
Oh, wow.
So they decided to drive. And it took them 3 days, but they said they had a good time while they were doing their little, kind of sightsee a little bit.
Did they like stay at hotels or did they?
They did stay at hotels, and they only had to stay in a hotel for one portion of the trip. The other places where they rested were with friends or relatives. So they stayed like in another part of their relative's house, that kind of thing. So it was very safe for them. So just think about, where are you moving to, what's going on there, and then how will you get there? I think is pretty important things to consider. The other things that I have on my list here is that consider who are you moving with, and is that person at risk for getting COVID? So if you're in a multi-generational family, are you traveling with or people that maybe have some type of medical condition? You have to take all of that into consideration. So I think that's a really big deal as well. And the next, when you're thinking about making the move, how long is it going to take you?
Oh.
Right? Do you have to take off work or have the kids take off school? Because now that everything, a lot of people are working from home, or the kids are doing the distance learning online. If you're in a moving vehicle, I guess if you have really great Wi-Fi, your kids can attend class on iPad or something. Yeah. But you have to think about, how much time do you need to take off from school or from work? And some cases, you're required to quarantine before you visit a place. So,
yes, like Hawaii.
Yeah, like Hawaii. We just had some family members that decided that they were going to be brave and go to Hawaii
or Mexico.
Yeah. Well, I'm not sure about Mexico, but I heard that in Hawaii you have to get a test, and then the test has to be taken from a very specific place, and has to be done a specific time before you fly, and then you have to have that valid certificate in order to board the aircraft. So it was a process for them. And then, of course, you want to talk to your moving company. And a lot of moving companies are taking very serious precautions in moving their customers, whether it's from, across town or across state lines, what have you. And you want to make sure that you are remembering to social distance during the packing process and during the loading of your items onto the truck. And you have to make sure too that whomever you're moving with, that they're also following protocols, wearing gloves and masks and sanitizing their hands, all that kind of stuff.
Like personally, I think a few months ago, I moved from like San Jose to San Mateo, and the moving company that I used were very professional. They had booties and gloves and masks. And of course, I made sure that everyone else wasn't there. So I managed the move, and so my toddler wasn't running around, and there weren't extra people in the house. And so that's how I handled it, just to be safe, just to have as little points of contact as possible.
That's really excellent. Another tip that I picked up was sometimes to avoid having people come to your house that are not part of your social bubble is to video all of the things that you would like to have moved, so that you can get your estimates in that fashion using the video feature on your phone and taking a video of everything that you want moved, so you can get your bids in that way. Because you should get more than one bid when you're working with a professional moving company. And I think it's great to use the video to remind yourself of what exactly it is that you want moved, to avoid any surprise costs, when the day of the move, that kind of thing. So
that's a great tip. Yeah.
And then some of the moving companies also have a packing calculator app that you can utilize. You can check with the moving company to see if they have one. A really big one, and I don't know, depending on how much stuff you have, you may want to think about packing your own stuff. And the reason I say that is because then it's just you yourself touching your items that you want moved, and then you're boxing them yourself. And then that way, only the outsides of the boxes are being touched by the movers themselves.
Yeah, that's what I did. And so I know where everything is as well. But also it made the process faster because everything was all packed up. So all they had to do was just get them in the trucks and then move them and then take them out of the trucks.
Well, what we know is, and you can actually get this list from the CDC, is the length of time that the virus actually lives on surfaces. And from what I've read, that the virus can live on cardboard boxes up to 24 hours. So once your items are delivered, my advice is to wait until the next day or let 24 hours pass and then start to unpack.
We were very fortunate to be able to stay with some family members before we moved into our place. So yeah. That's great.
The other thing too that you would want to do is if you're moving in or moving out. So if you're moving into a condominium or a townhome, is you want to alert your new neighbors that you are moving in or moving out, as so that they can also give you the space and time for the movers and yourself to move all of your items either in or out. And that way you're avoiding contact with your neighbors and making or ensuring that contact with other people outside this bubble that you're creating is very limited.
That's a good tip.
Yeah. Let me see. Also, using door stops is a great idea. So then that way, nobody has to touch door handles or hold doors open. Just use a lot of door stops so that it's a clean line, from the moving the item from the unit into the moving truck. They don't have to touch any doors
or walk by somebody within 6 feet. Yeah.
The other thing that I have here that I thought was really good was pack hand soap and paper towels in a marked box so that they can be the first and the last off the truck. And then also, besides paper towels and hand soap, also pack hand sanitizer and lots of it, and extra masks. Because I think that's important. You got to wear masks for sure. And then, of course, when you arrive at the new home, before anybody comes in, you want to take those hand sanitizing wipes and wipe down all the surfaces, all of the doorknobs, light switches, anything that possibly somebody might want to touch. Definitely countertops,
Yes.
drawer pulls, appliance handles, and light switches, even if the home was professionally cleaned before your arrival. So you definitely want to do that. And then when everybody leaves, you want to do that again for sure.
Oh, is that it?
I thought those were really good.
Those are really great tips, Debbie. Thank you. Yeah.
So hopefully you all can utilize those. And if anybody wants a list of that, get in touch with us and we'd be happy to send you the list.
Yeah. And if you like this topic or want to hear anything else about moving, just in general, please feel free to email us at, we'll give them your email, debbie@debbiewong.com. And don't forget to subscribe to our podcast, wherever you listen to podcasts, and on our YouTube channel. And thank you so much. And we hope you stay safe and have a wonderful day.
Thank you and take care, guys.
Bye-bye.